Growth happens when you start doing the things that you are not qualified to do. I am not ready. Hey folks, my name is Vin and this is the Venn Diagram, a channel dedicated to the intersection of my life experiences. This is the second to last, my third. It was actually supposed to be my last video, but I needed to chop it up because it was too long, about my series of The Diary of a CEO by Steven Bartlett. If you're not familiar with him, let me make you familiar. He is a businessman and the founder of Third Web, Flight Story, and Flight Fund. And you might have known of him through his podcast, same title as the book, The Diary of a CEO, which is where I heard all about him. If you want to know what Steven calls his 4 pillars of greatness, aka what makes you you, or the 5 buckets, also known as what you are capable of. Before I get into it, would you be willing to subscribe? Thank you very much. Have a wonderful time. So you might have noticed I'm in a different space. I have moved from my place in Chicago and I'm back in Los Angeles for a little bit. So the setup is here and I'll show it at the end of the video. But let's get into the video. Excuse me. So this first part is self-belief and perceptions. I started this video with a quote that growth happens when you start doing the things that you are not qualified to do. To accomplish anything, you really have to have a level of belief that isn't 100% based on facts. I mean, you basically kind of have to be just a little delusional. But what it means is you have to believe in your potential. You might not feel qualified to do anything, especially if you're in college still, or right out of it, or it's like your first few jobs in the workforce. And it's okay to not have that confidence yet. No one is 100% qualified for any job that they apply for. If they were, they would outgrow that job in like a heartbeat. One of my favorite learnings from this book is your skills are worthless, but your context is everything. So anyone can learn a skill. What can you, as you are, bring to the table because it is coming from you and your life experience? Next is that Steven wants you to lean into your bizarre behavior. Whatever your weird is, lean into it. For me, dancing is one of my oldest hobbies, so I kind of do a lot of like weird things with my body, you know? And that's just how comfortable I am with my body. What is your context? What makes you unique and just you? You know, these are also the things that will make you memorable. One of the ways that Steven put it is that if technology is criticized, it means there's something worth leaning into. It means that innovation is coming. You know, especially right now in 2024, this iteration of AI and machine learning is huge in this moment. It's facing a lot of scrutiny because there's something new happening here that we have not seen at this scale before, especially at this level of accessibility to a day-to-day user. There are new solutions to old problems, and that means there's an opportunity for us to be able to do things in a way that we haven't seen before. It should look weird, unconventional, misunderstood, wrong, stupid, dumb, or even illegal. So if anyone has ever made you feel any of these things, it means that you are unique, that there is something that they are scared of that is not about you. Do not let the world's judgments take that uniqueness away from you, especially if it makes you happy to be that way, or you were just, as Lady Gaga puts it, born this way. Convention, similarity, and rationality convey no message about who you are and who you aren't. Be different. Lean into it. I allow myself to say things like, I'm walking here. I'm walking here. I'm walking here. Up yours, you son of a... Even if I'm not from New York, but I love New York. Or say fuds instead of food because that just feels right to me. And a lot of people might look at me weird or they might not understand right away, but those are my quirks and I lean into them. That's what makes me feel more like me. And it is how I make sense of or make light of the world around me, because we all know that the world needs a little more light these days. Your most important beliefs should not be binary. I read this a few times before it really clicked and made sense to me. There is obviously value in having a set of principles that help guide you in your life, but we will change over time. Society will change us, requiring us to reconsider previous beliefs that we had. And I'm not just saying that I agree with this because I'm non-binary. It does help prove the case that life is not as binary as we believe it to be. So for example, I generally dislike mustard and pickles, but a few times a year I will try mustard and pickles just to see if my mind has changed, if my taste buds are different. I do still dislike yellow mustard in general. No pickles ever has tasted good to me, so that's still unchanged. But being amenable to change is good for you. It really makes me more malleable to other decisions in my life when I'm willing to reframe my thinking about a specific thing. Once upon a time, I had certain requirements for someone to remain a friend in my life. That you had to talk to me an X amount of time and reach out this many times in a year. And I don't believe in that framework anymore because life happens and everyone is facing something you don't know about. You have to meet people where they are, and that is not always going to be exactly where you are. Might be a little mismatch, but we can still be along each other, and that's okay. And that doesn't mean you should let people walk all over you, but it does mean that you should give people grace and not have unrealistic standards for being your friend. I also love this quote: "There is no greater form of gratitude than taking care of yourself." Damn, you know? I so appreciate that we are in an era of society and mental health that leaders of companies are saying this. It is no longer the norm to deprive yourself of your needs to accomplish your goals. How can you really contribute to the world without knowing how to take care of yourself and actually doing it? I have learned in the last few years that rest is a daily, weekly, monthly, as well as seasonal priority. You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to earn rest. You don't. You can take it when you need it. And remember that good work requires good rest, just like you need sleep to function. You need food to function. You need breaks to really get energy. So do that. You're allowed. And I'll close this section out with this final quote: "The body is the only vessel you will use to explore the world, and the only house that you can ever truly call a home." So good. So good. So if you take care of your body, you are literally taking care of your one true home. Take the time to understand your body's needs in food, cravings, in movement, in stillness, and you won't regret it, I promise you. So, in closing, on self-belief and perceptions, attempt what you believe you are not capable of and surprise yourself. Allow yourself to be weird, to think outside the box, and remember that rest is necessary, not earned. Please let me know in the comments something that you apply, and I'll see you in the next video. This is where I put up my phone to record. This is my desk, big desk. This is where I was sitting. This is the setup so far. It's coming together, and also I'm sick, so I just